Hello, we're at ASHP in Orlando, Florida. I'm Andrew Wilson, the Vice President of 340B Solutions for McKesson. We're here today to talk to Alison Apple. Alison is the Director of Pharmacy Services at Methodist Bonheur Healthcare. And we're going to talk about navigating some of the challenges that you've encountered in the recent past as 340B has changed. You've got 5 times the challenge that everyone else has in 340B because you have 5 different locations, so everything that you do has to be executed 5 times over. So.
Actually, we have 8 locations because we have 5 hospitals and 3 oncology centers, so that are all part of the program and part of MHMH.
So what did resource changes, policy changes, people changes, what sort of things?
So I think a lot of this started with us is kind of looking at our 340B manager program and also looking at wholesalers. So we actually switched to McKesson a year ago, October, so October 2012. So as part of that whole process of evaluating wholesalers, part of our priority was compliance with 340B. So I think from our standpoint, that was really the initiation of, okay, what have we been doing for a number of years? How does that need to change? And how can we partner with McKesson in order to be able to do that? So that involved multiple steps to really be looking at in terms of those transitions.
Okay. What were you missing, or what did you figure you needed to add?
Well, I think when we started, we had policies and procedures, but they weren't probably at the level that they needed to be. We were not comfortable with our 340B manager software and how that was calculating everything for us in terms of our accumulations. And I think, those were the 2 things I think that we were most interested in evaluating and making changes. And that certainly got renewed in February when the clarifications came out, and we had to really look at where we might be using GPO pricing that we shouldn't, and setting up WAC accounts and everything that went along with that. So we were already in our transition at that point, but it was, okay, now we got to really step back and rethink again.
Yep. Now, the proceeds of 340B, the savings you get, are applied to indigent care, the uninsured, and to the mission of the organization. But the GPO prohibition you just talked about actually changed the profile of what you were saving. Now, I know a little bit about Methodist, and I know that your finance folks are particularly focused on making 340B effective.
Right.
How did the savings profile change?
I think it depends on where you're looking at the savings. So in our 5 hospitals where our mixed-use savings, we have seen a significant decrease in the savings that we've gotten from 340B. So our WAC purchases are now offsetting those savings significantly. But to be honest, in the hospital setting, that for us, in the way that we're structured, that's a smaller part of the savings for us than our other settings. So we have 3 oncology infusion centers. Those are not mixed-use settings, so we're not being impacted by WAC purchases offsetting our 340B savings. So that's a positive for us because we do have those carved out, and we don't have to really worry about buying anything at WAC in those settings.
How about your frontline staff? I know you switched distributors, and you switched software too. If I'm the buyer at one of those 5 hospitals, how am I doing?
So I think that's been a big learning process for us, and really I think that, I hate to admit it, but prior to about a year ago, I would say that the knowledge level, even among our pharmacy leaders at our various facilities, was not at the level of what it needed to be around the whole 340B program, because it sort of happened automatically for people.
Now, we actually spent time together in terms of working through that process because you took advantage of some of our pharmacy optimization services to actually build the pieces to underpin your program. But what are the resources that you just talked about how you've had to raise the level of the participation of all the members of your staff. What else have you had to bring into play?
Well, we've done a number of things. One is, I think, that's been really valuable is forming a 340B corporate management team. And so that has brought together health system leaders for all the organizations that are involved in 340B, all the pharmacy leaders, our auditing department, our legal department, and everybody sitting around the table and really reviewing our policies and procedures, and then understanding as we make decisions and impact what that means to the organization overall. We added staff. in terms of just 340B program coordinator, just, recognizing the impact that has. And I think another piece that has been major changes from a resource standpoint is really our own internal auditing that we're doing. And we have been able to put together a very robust auditing program that I think really helps us to understand what's going on, where vulnerabilities are. I mean, this is a very complicated program. I mean, everybody's got vulnerabilities of some sort, and so being able to identify those before they become a major issue, I think helps me sleep better at night.
Big takeaway, something you tell your peers to think about before they...
Don't wait until you get your audit notice. You need to be thinking about that now, and it's not a horrible experience, but you need to really have a solid program in place. Make sure you're managing your program and that you're auditing your program and that you can be fully prepared